and I was thinking about like intention of social media, and like I've done quite a lot of really honest posts that I've done that could like to some people feel like, oh my god, I can't believe you told everyone like your life, or you put yourself out there. Like I put something pretty personal on around New Year's Day. Or was it? Yeah, I think it was New Year's Day. Sort of doing like a reflection of 2019.
Yeah.
Like from a personal growth point of view, like I went through 360 with being engaged, calling it off, and then deciding to stay in anyway, etc. I didn't go on about that. But and then obviously, like I shared with the group, I did the one about my 2-year mark in Doha. And again, I didn't really think too much about it. I wrote from the heart. And I've definitely seen the difference from doing your course in the fact that I didn't care what anyone thought. Do you know what I mean? But what I'm trying to get to the point is, how do I celebrate what's happened today? Like without, like, how do I get it right? Like, would you do a post that's obviously going to be there and stationary, or would you do a story, or would you do both? Like, how would you kind of, share it kind of thing?
So by the way, if I look down at any point, guys, what I'm doing is making a note of the topics we cover, so that when I upload the recording, people can see what we talked about, because I thought it was quite a good idea. Yeah. So let me type that down. So how to celebrate a new team member, right? A new team member on social. I think obviously vulnerability on social media is, what you wrote was amazing, and I'd highly encourage all of you to do that. I think that vulnerability on social media is amazing. The only time that it becomes a problem is if you ever feel pressured, or like you need to get more and more extreme, which is what I saw happening with vulnerability, because people like talk about it like it's a bit of a buzzword now. Be vulnerable. And what people really mean by that is, through vulnerability you connect more deeply with people. So when posts that are just like join my team, or very kind of shallow, make an extra grand a month, that's great, but they generally don't work that well. Whereas if you connect with people over the deeper reason why they want to do the business, which is why I get you guys to do all the kind of personal branding, it's never about £1,000 a month. It's about not staying up at night because you're worried about how you're going to pay the bills, or it's about feeling like you're making the most of your life. So that kind of stuff. So vulnerability is amazing on social media, and if you feel comfortable sharing things, then share them. You definitely want to eventually create polarity, which basically means that some people will read your post and be like, oh my god, that I can't believe she shared that, I would never do that. And some people read it and they're like, oh my god, that, like, I'm so glad she shared that, I really connect with that. So the only time I think it gets a bit much is when people kind of feel like they need to share more and more and more like shocking things about their life when they don't really feel comfortable to. But yeah, you'll notice you get a lot more engagement when you share that kind of stuff. By the way, everyone is put in the chat, well done for recruiting.
Oh, thank you.
Alice sent you 4 champagne bottles.
Yes, so, that's what I'm gonna have.
Yeah. So in terms of welcoming a new team member, it's really up to you. So what I see people doing mostly is you kind of set a routine that you do based on your team. So you can create maybe some welcome template, a welcome story template on Canva, which you just, every time you do recruit, you put their photo in there, and it just says welcome to the team, and you just download it and put it on your stories. I think that welcome posts do make quite good content because it's social proof, so people can see people are joining your team. So
Yeah.
For now, I think that a post would also be really good. So I would do stories and a post.
The only thing with Christabel is she's not on either social media, so I don't have a photo. You know what I mean? Like I don't have. So it wouldn't be.
You could do a post that basically describes that you've had a great day because you've welcomed someone new to the team, you've done X, Y, Z. You're kind of dropping it in a general post. Yeah.
Okay.
If you can get photos of them, then I recommend a Facebook post welcoming them and a story as well for the meme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And do you have any more questions?
Not that I can think of right now. No. It was mainly just that.
Do you feel like you are clear on what you need to be doing moving forward now? Like where you're up to with the course and everything like that? You feel happy with what you're doing day to day? Yeah?
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. All right, my lovely. I'll pop you on mute.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go to Angie. Hello.
What's up?
Yeah, how are you?
I'm great.
Good. Have you got any questions for me this week?
Well, to be honest, I'm still new here, so I'm still covering the course.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, until now, nothing. But those couple of days, like I have been starting to try to take action. But the thing is, I don't know. Like sometimes I just feel like there's something holding me back to not start. Like doing, sometimes I have set those goals, like connect with more people, connect with, like make connections, make some more friendships, because this Facebook account I have made January last year.
Okay.
I probably like have 690 friends, but I really have a really good connection with only like 20. So that's really, really bad, and I have a really low engagement. So I think that my goal for this month, I'm going to be connecting with friends, like with more friends on Facebook.
Yeah.
But sometimes I feel like I can't just start doing what I have to do, like engaging with their posts, start making some conversations. Sometimes I feel really lazy. So how do you get over that? Like how do you stay motivated to do such things?
Yeah, good question. So I would say as well for you at the minute anyway, you're working through phase 1.
Yeah.
So that's actually all about self-sabotage and motivation. So probably from working through that, you'll find some answers to your question anyway. But it is a good idea to just in the background carry on with your engagement and upping your engagement and your connection. So that's fine. I think that did you listen to the recording of the last group call when I did a training on motivation?
No, not yet. I couldn't do that.
Okay. I would start by referring you to that. So if you go into the members area, it was the coaching. If you scroll down, you'll see recorded coaching calls, and it was the one from the 29th of December.
29th?
Yeah, 29th.
Okay.
So that will really help and answer your questions. Generally, the thing with motivation is you kind of need to create it every day. So in that training, I go through things you can do to make sure that every day you feel more motivated. I think as well, it's remembering that doing things like planning, making sure you're planning and scheduling in when you're going to do things will help, but knowing that you're only human, so you're not gonna have like a perfect streak all of the time. You might have one day every couple of weeks where you're just not feeling it, then that's kind of normal. I guess the problem is if you're feeling like day in day out you're lacking the motivation. So yeah, I don't know if that's true for you, if it's kind of just now and again, or is it more like all the time you're kind of feeling low motivation? Which one would you say? Oh, can you still hear me? Hello.
Oh. Now I can hear you.
Are you back? Sorry, do you want me to repeat the question?
All right, I'm back. Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. It just went a bit quiet. I was just saying, do you feel like it's every now and again that you're lacking the motivation, or is it happening quite often?
I think like often when I don't start my day correctly, because like first of all, like this is my schedule which I'm trying, last week I tried to set this like as my new goal for 2020.
Yeah.
So basically, like I wake up at 5 a.m. like this is my average. I like to spend a little bit of time with God and then meditate, work out, shower, breakfast, and then go to work. And if I can, like if there's not so much work, because I work as a saleswoman in a souvenir store. So basically when we don't have tourists over, I will be like networking and engaging on posts. So sometimes like when I get too much interrupted at work, I kind of lose focus. Like I sometimes start like engaging on posts, or perhaps let's say start a conversation for like 10 minutes, and then a tourist group comes, and then I'm like, hey, sorry, I have to get back to you. And then I go back, go to work. I spend like 1 hour, something like that, and then I get back. I'm like, I'm too tired to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think then the answer sounds more like, if you're trying to do it kind of stop start and really fragmented, it's obviously not working for you. So I would look at, if you look at your week, there's actually an exercise in the members area, which is a time audit. So it gets you
the first thing.
Yeah. Have you done it?
I was still trying to look for an application, but then yet again, I got lost in looking, and then I got back to work. So I'm like,
okay. So with that, it basically says, well, this is your week, and these are your non-negotiables, i.e. you have to go to work, church, anything like that that's to you a non-negotiable. And then where are you going to fit the work in? So if it's not working for you to try and do it at work that way, then it's thinking about how can you structure your time
after work.
Yeah, because if you get like a lunch break at work, maybe that's a better idea, because you're not going to get interrupted when you're on your actual break.
No, we don't have any lunch break.
Okay. But I mean, the tough love answer, unfortunately, is, if the evenings are all you've got, then the evenings are where you're going to have to do the work, even if you're feeling a bit tired. Or having a look at your diary and thinking, well, I'm going to have to maybe like make a few sacrifices here and there so that I have the time to focus on the business, because ultimately you have to do the action, as you know, and it has to be fitted in the week somewhere, and it needs to be somewhere where you can reasonably try and focus. But the thing is that everyone works differently. So I'm the same as you, where I would find it really difficult to do it where I'm like stop starting and I keep getting interrupted and things like that. Whereas some people could do that and that's fine, but it's, I guess, recognizing that isn't working for you, and maybe trying a different strategy in terms of when you're actually doing the work.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
I can try this this week.
Yeah. The other thing I was going to say is, and a lot of stuff with motivation, it sounds really obvious, but you obviously have to create it yourself. So if you know you're about to do some work on your business, what I recommend is if you've got, say, a Pinterest board, or you've got like pictures on your phone or something visual you can look at to get yourself in the zone,
Mm-hmm.
help to motivate you. So looking at your goals in a, you know, so when I sit down to do my work, if I'm feeling uninspired or I'm feeling like I would really rather do something else, I'll look at my Pinterest board, and then I connect with my goals, I connect with my vision. I'm like, right, I need to do it, because it's the consistency that will pay off, and obviously we don't always feel like doing it. So those little kind of visual reminders of why you're doing it will help as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep, makes sense.
Yeah, we've got to create motivation. It's not something, unfortunately, that, you know, you just wake up. I mean, obviously some days people wake up and they're super pumped, but if we rely on that, we wouldn't really get much done, because, you know, again, we've got lots of things going on in our lives, and if we just do it when we feel like it, it's going to be a bit of a disaster. So try that. But I do think that if you watch the training from the last call, and just working through the self-sabotage work and the mindset work in phase 1, I think you'll find makes a huge difference as well. So that's why you're in the group. Do you know what I mean? You're here to help with all of that stuff. So when you've worked through that, I think you'll feel differently.
Yep. All right. That's good. Thank you, Anna.
Welcome. Do you, before you go, let me ask you, do you feel happy with everything, like what you need to be doing and working through everything? Kind of, yeah, do you feel like you've got direction?
Yeah, I mean, I have set my goal for now to spend this whole month basically just, you know, working on my mindset and working on connecting with more people. So that's basically the goal.
That's perfect. Yeah, work on and carry on connecting, and that's a perfect way to spend January.
Yeah, but do you think I should stop now accepting new friends on Facebook so I can just focus on my already friends on Facebook?
What I would do is in phase, when you go into the members area in phase 3, in there is a module called, I think it's called Facebook Cleanup or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
If you work through the exercises in that, because what that will do is you'll print off your Facebook friends, and then you don't have to print it, you can basically copy and paste it onto a list, a document. Yeah. And then you basically work through that list. So you have a name, you go on their profile, and you can decide if you want to get rid of them, keep them. If you're going to keep them, you can interact with them, which will obviously boost the algorithm. If you interact with them, they're more likely to see your stuff and interact with you. So I would do that, and I think that you know, I would probably encourage you to keep connecting with ideal team members, so people that you like the look of, people you would like to work with. I would carry on doing that whilst, you know, or you can hold off on doing that until you've worked through your current list, and then you feel like you've either got rid of people that, you know, aren't active or whatever, and you've kind of got a bit more engagement, and then you can start adding people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Awesome. Fabulous. Thank you. I will pop you on mute.
Thank you, dear.
Thank you. Let's go to Alice. Hi, Alice.
Hello.
Hi. Oh, bless you.
Yeah.
Do you want to ask questions this week, or is your throat sore?
I had a question. Okay, so when you're going through friends list,
Yeah.
how do you determine if someone is active or not? Do you go by the date of the last post, or how do you do it?
Okay, so I'd probably go off that primarily. So you've got a few obviously red flags, which are no cover photo,
Okay.
profile photo. Like they've got 3 friends,
Okay.
things like that. But yeah, if you so when I was doing it recently, I noticed that some people hadn't, they hadn't posted since. I mean, I'm quite brutal because if someone's not posted in the last kind of 4 or 5 months, I'll delete them.
Okay.
So obviously you guys are wanting to build online, so you ideally need people in your team that are active on social media.
Active, yeah.
So yeah, I would go off that, and I would just maybe want to say to yourself, then I'm
Yeah.
gonna
Mommy,
Okay.
to tell. Yeah. Alice, if you've got any more questions, just tap them in.
No, that's all. Yeah, I'll type. Okay.
All right, my lovely. Feel better soon. Oh, bless her. Del, I don't know if you can talk, unmute yourself maybe. So I don't want to unmute you because I don't know if you're traveling. You said. Hello. How are you?
Yeah, I've been full of cold as well.
I've still got a really bad cough, and it was so funny. I was in this really nice restaurant for breakfast. I was like, I'll just blow my nose really quickly, like really discreet. And it was just like a horn that went on for like 4 minutes, like. I was like, oh, no, I can't stop. So yeah,
it's really funny. I had a day and a half in bed in the beginning of the week leading up to Christmas, so about 4 or 5 days before Christmas, and then that improved, and then New Year's Eve it never quite went, and then New Year's Eve it all started coming out again. So yeah.
Feel your pain. Are you celebrating any wins this week that you want to share with the group?
Well, I must be. What wins am I celebrating? I'm celebrating still being motivated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I put on the other day that I'd had crappy night's sleep, been to work, came back, thought, oh, I'll go and sit and read a book, and I thought, no, I'm going to get my business stuff out and do some work on my business. And so yeah, I'm pretty proud of myself. I've got all the kids at home, so there's only so much you can do, and but yeah, managed to keep going and keep the motivation over the Christmas period. I want to start hitting the ground running a bit, but I don't want to run before I can walk. So I'm just about getting to the stage where I'm going to start looking at personal branding and things. I was going to ask you, have you looked at my business page at all?
I have not. You can send me a link if you want.
I'll send you some links because it'd be really helpful to get some feedback on, because I had a logo designed quite a long time ago. Well, I say quite a long time, I mean like, well, yeah, I don't know, 12 months or so ago. And it's very simple and I quite like it, and I think it may be okay, but it'd be interesting to see what you think. And the sort of any other pointers.
Yeah, just send me the link and I'll have a look.
Yeah. Thinking a lot about who my target market is, and I think I've got 2 distinct channels.
Okay.
So I'm thinking around that at the moment, and in fact, yeah, 2 distinct channels for my team, and then customers as a separate thing. So, sort of almost 3 facets to the business. But when we have our one-to-one, which I can't find a date for, so I'm not sure if we've set one.
Okay. We'll do that after the call.
Yeah. Then that's something I'd like to go through in detail. And I don't know. I had loads of questions, but today I've been out the house all day because my husband's been sanding, and we've just got back in. So I don't know I can't remember where I was at and what my question.
Just a tip for you guys: if you have questions during the week that you would rather like ask on the group call, then just write it in your notes section on your phone.
Yeah.
And then you can bring it up during the call. Obviously, you can Voxer me as well.
Yeah. And I sent you my vision and my goals. I don't know if did you have time to read those?
Yeah, I looked over them. Yeah.
Yeah. And does that sound okay? Does that sound like a reasonable vision and goals? And
I mean, I don't like to say, because I think that the word reasonable shouldn't come into things like goals and dreams. I mean, I can certainly look back over it with that question in mind if you want, but it's your vision, your goals. That's why I don't think timelines on stuff too much, because
and I've worked out that to fulfill that dream, I'm sort of really looking at 250,000 plus my sort of month-to-month living expenses. So I know what I'm looking at with that. It's then trying to sort of work it all back and not feel like, bloody hell, I'm never going to get there.
Yeah. So, I mean, I can look back over it, but if it's money, obviously, if $250,000 a year. So a year or a month?
No, this is for me to have everything I want in my big dream. I will have needed to have amassed 250,000.
Yeah. So I mean, savings goals are challenging in a way, purely from like a trying to work it out point of view. But you can roughly do it. So the way that I do it is to say, okay, like this is how much I would spend a month on whatever, and then I'd say, right, well, if I need like 5,000 a month to live, then if I'm making 8,000 a month, then I can save 3,000 a month. So in a year, I would have grand saved. So you can roughly work it out that way.
Also, one of the Eagles trainings that I was at, I think it was Juliana Bevan spoke, and she gave us a breakdown, which I thought I'd got, and I can't find it anywhere, of her journey in Forever. And sort of, I can't remember, but in the first year, she went from earning, I don't know, £500 a month to £5,000 a month. It took her a whole year to do that. But in her second year, she went from £5,000 a month to £15,000 a month or something. It was like exponential. And she was saying about how it snowballs. Have you got any information on that sort of thing? I know it's different for everyone, but it was really motivating to think, wow,
I'm just writing this down. When you say information, what exactly would you be looking for? Or do you want me to just talk about it? Is that what you mean?
Or talk about what? Sorry.
Works.
Yeah, just sort of how quickly can it? Because I'm sort of looking at my goals and I'm feeling a bit like I'm really excited, but there's another part of me that thinks, oh my God, I'm going to have to wait such a long time to achieve all of this.
So the thing is with that is, from a manifestation point of view,
Yeah.
you need to learn to release the goal. So it's like, my goal, my vision is to have $250,000 in the bank, and you set the intention, you set the goal, you've worked out how to get there roughly, and then you release it, and
Right. Okay.
you get fixated on, oh, this is going to take me a really, really long time.
Yeah.
Not in the energy of knowing, and you're not in the energy of, this is going to happen for me.
Yeah.
And you probably find that the people, when their income snowballs, it's not that they were like, oh, okay, so if I'm going to get this month, then that means like this time next year it'll be this, and da-da-da. It's just that it snowballs because A, their business is in momentum, and B, they're then in the vibration, in the mindset of like, just more is coming, more is coming, more is coming, and they're open to it.
Yeah.
So
I'm overthinking it.
Well, it's not that you're overthinking it, but I can guarantee you that probably if you speak to anyone who experienced that, they didn't necessarily plan for it.
Yeah.
That's definitely what happened to me. I mean, mine went from £400 to 1,700 to 2,000, 4,000, 5,000, 7,000, 9,000, 10,000 in 6 months.
Wow.
So, like, I never dreamt of earning more than £2,000. So I was very much like in that space of like openness, I think, without actually, like, I can retrospectively say that, but at the time I just had no expectations. I was just like, oh no, it's £3,000, like, oh, it's gone up to £5,000, like, you know, we'd be on the phone to each other on bonus night, like, oh my God, no, it's 7,000. And so yeah, it's a little bit of set the intention, release it into the universe, feel the feelings of knowing it's happening without getting hung up on when it's going to happen or how it's going to happen.
That's what I needed to hear. That is what I needed to hear.
Little reminder.
I lost sight of that for a bit.
Yeah.
Right.
Because, yeah, otherwise you'll just drive yourself insane, basically.
Interestingly, I don't know if everyone else has seen it, but Gemma's doing a manifestation attraction thing, a 10-day one starting on Monday, which I've signed up for.
Oh, awesome.
So, yeah. But yes, that's what I need to do. Right. Thank you. That I was getting a bit bogged down with all of that.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to money and numbers, you know, like, I'm a numbers person, so I definitely like relate to that. But
yeah,
you know, there comes a point where I can say, you know, I want this much money in the bank, or I want, and you can't. It's like Hayley's just commented, like, think of the how. It's like you can plan it out, i.e., I want to get to the bank or whatever. But ultimately, you have to release that, because you don't know exactly like how quickly you'll get there, or like how it will unfold. Like, maybe you'll sponsor someone in Australia that really takes off, and you can say, well, like, a UK team of this size, maybe it turns out it's like a Singaporean team of that size or whatever. So yeah, that's the thing, to just go back to all your resources on manifestation and remind.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll pop you on mute and let's crack on with the training. So let me see if I can bring up what I need to bring up. Can you guys see this? Just give me a thumbs up. Hayley, can you see it? Give me a thumbs up. Oh. Awesome. Right, so in your members area, I basically have uploaded a new quarterly goal mapper because I saw that there was one in there, but I prefer this one. So what I'm going to do is show you how to fill one out. And I thought I would just take you through like the whole process, because a lot of you have asked me about goal setting and things. So what I do like to do quarterly goals, and I use something very similar. So I'll walk you through the process that I would generally use, and then you can use this resource, and then you can refer back to the recording of this if you want to go and do it, or you can write it out now if you want to. I do recommend that you do this on paper, but I mean, or you can do it like type it up, but it's completely your call. By the way, I got my law of attraction planner. So good. So what you're gonna do is, I'll just walk you through this, and hopefully you guys can see it quite clearly. So you're going to start by clearly writing out the goal. So in your quarterly planner, you've got space for 3 goals. So I think 3 goals is a nice amount. Of course, you can set as many as you want, but you don't want to overwhelm yourself. And always try and think about the goal that is most, I guess, significant for your vision. So this is a complete made-up example, by the way. I just thought it'd be useful. So I put here, right, my first quarterly goal is to get promoted to executive diamond rank. So you just write out the goal. You start by writing out the goal. So I like to call these 12-week sprints, because as terrifying as it is, the year is only made up of 4 12-week sprints. It kind of puts a rocket up your bum. So this is your first 12-week sprint. This is actually our first call of 2020, which I've just realised, which is exciting. So you're going to start by writing out the goal, and then you want to clearly define the goal. So I've put here, to be able to achieve this goal, I would need to have 10,000 points volume and sponsor a minimum of 4 people frontline. To achieve 10,000 points volume, I would need to have roughly 20 people on my team. So you've got your goal, and then you're kind of expanding on that. So you're really, really clear on how to kind of measure that goal, i.e. how will you know that you've achieved it? So you know that you'll be executive diamond rank because you need to do 10,000 points in volume, and you need to recruit 4 people. And then in order to get those 10,000 points volume, you know that you would roughly have about 20 people on your team. So you're really, really kind of clear on that. And then I like to write out why the goal is important, which, to make sure that, you are connected to it and it's meaningful, and you're not just setting something for the sake of setting it. And then always, how are you going to reward yourself for a goal? So important. I want you guys to do way more celebrating this year. So you can write that. I've just said I'll go out for a fancy dinner and choose whatever I want from the menu. So something that's going to really excite you and incentivize you to do that goal. Oh, one sec. Haley just says I'm cutting out. Is anyone else? If you're having problems hearing me, just put it in the chat. I think it might just be Haley. It might just be you, babe. Maybe try logging out and back in again. And let me know if yeah, Adele says she can hear okay. I'll just carry on. Then when you go to the planner, you'll see that it's set out. Oh, and Alice can hear me fine. Okay, great. So you write your goal in here, and you can write in here why it's important, how you're going to reward yourself, and get really clear on how you're going to measure it. And then it says the first thing I can do to move closer to this goal is, and then the 3 ways I will achieve this are. and then you do the second thing I'm going to do to move closer to this goal, and then the third thing. So that's how it's laid out. So for this example, the first thing I can do to move closer to this goal is recruit 4 people frontline. So you know that that's obviously an important part of your goal, is you need to have those 4 people at the front line. So that's the first thing you want to do to move closer. So I put here the three ways I will achieve this are: I will need to speak to 80 people in order to recruit 4 people. So that's going off your own stats, knowing your numbers. Therefore, I will commit to inviting at least 6 people per week, and inviting 6 people per week to the business to look at the business. So you're working out there the numbers. You know how many numbers you need to work through to get you 4. So that's one of the key ways you're going to achieve that goal. So number 2 might be, I'm going to ensure that I have an effective onboarding system. And number 3, I'm going to connect to at least 6 new people a week so that I never run out of people to speak to. So then the second thing I can do to move closer to my goal is support my 4 new people to recruit 2 people each, then help all of those people recruit. And this is how I'll grow my team to 20, which is another thing you need to do to hit the goal. So again, the 3 ways I will achieve this are: create an easy recruitment system for my team to follow so that your team are recruiting more easily, hold weekly coaching calls, and lead from the front by consistently recruiting myself. And then the third thing I'm going to do is get an accountability buddy. So the 3 ways I'm going to achieve that are: start to network more, contact a few people about being an accountability buddy for me, and then declare my goals on Facebook so that I'm accountable to my team. So putting them all on social media is obviously going to put it out there that you're committed to that. So that's the way that I would do a quarterly goal mapping session. So you have your 3 goals, and then you work through the mapper. So basically, the first thing I'm going to do to move closer to this goal, and then break that down. So you're basically breaking it down more and more as you go through each goal. And then I've just put at the bottom as well how you would maybe map that onto your 7-day plan, basically. So when you're sitting down on a Sunday or whenever you want to do it, and you're mapping out exactly what you're going to do that week. I'm trying to mute you, Hayley, and it won't let me for some reason. Are you okay to do it yourself? If you can hear me. Oh, she says it's not working again. Oh, what a shame. So, for example, I've got here, if you look, I've got Monday through to Sunday, and then every day you're inviting 1 person, you're connecting with 1 person. That's how you might break it down, because Angie's having problems as well. Don't worry, guys, it's all recorded. So yeah, it's all recorded. So you know, for example, in this quarterly goal example, you're trying to speak to 6 people a week. So for example, 1 person a day across 6 days is obviously going to hit that for you. And then Monday, I've said on Monday I would work on creating the onboarding system. Wednesdays when I would have my coaching call. Thursdays is when I would have a meeting with my accountability buddy. Friday would be when I check on my points volume to make sure I'm on track for hitting 10,000 by the end of the quarter. And then on Saturday might be when you work on your recruiting system, and then Sunday is your day off. So you're getting clear on your goals, you're getting clear on how you're going to get there and what you're going to do, and then you're mapping that onto your weekly plan as well. Some things you might want to do daily, some things you might want to do weekly. Some of you might prefer to do a little bit of everything every day. Some of you might prefer to get your head into like, right, Monday's an onboarding system, Tuesdays is this, you know, that's how I personally work. I can't really hip hop from what is that? Okay, no worries, Hayley. I don't like to jump from one topic to another, basically. So, you know, one day I might do content creation, and then the next day I'm working on your membership area, and then the next day I'm doing like marketing. So it just depends how you like to work. There's no right or wrong, as obviously as long as you're like keeping pace week to week. Then the day to day isn't, you know, whatever you do day to day isn't overly important how you structure it, if that makes sense. So in terms of putting that together, start by getting really clear on your priorities when you're sitting down and planning out your week. So if you're at a point in the program where you are prospecting, then obviously that is a number one priority. So you're prospecting, connecting, and following up are your three things you need to do. And then you want to maybe then write out what are the next, you know, I've got 5 priorities here, and you might want to stick to 5, you might want to have 10, whatever. So I've just given an example here. One thing that you guys want to start kind of just having in the back of your mind is delegation, because as your team grows and your business grows, you know, you've only got so many hours in a day, and it's not realistic to expect yourself to do absolutely everything. So, you know, if you can at the minute put money into any kind of delegation, I would really encourage that. So whether it's getting a cleaner or having someone do your ironing, or like always being aware of how you can either save time or delegate something that you either don't enjoy or is kind of low priority. Because what I see people doing was like, oh, well, you know, I had these errands to run, and then I had to clean the house, and, you know, that's just not the way that a leader will think and the way that a successful person would think. They would be like, right, I can delegate that. That gives me more time to work on my business, but also gives you more time to do the things that are important. So as an example, me and my partner, when I get back to Australia, we're going to pay for meal delivery, and not like cook yourself, but actually literally meals are ready. Because, you know, the time and like the mental capacity to plan meals and then actually cooking the meals, it takes up so much time that we're like, we could either be working on our dreams together, or we could spend time together. So that's the kind of mentality you want to kind of try and develop. I understand that financially it's not an option for everyone at this point in time, maybe. But, you know, don't be a hero when it comes to kind of the day-to-day stuff like cooking, cleaning. If you enjoy cooking, you know, great, do it at the weekend, but just start to kind of play around with that mentality, because it's really important. Alice, can't wait until the time I'm going to get a cleaner coming in once a week. Yeah, exactly. So for me, the way that I always the way that I've personally started out in that kind of way of thinking is cleaner, meal delivery, and an assistant. So I now have an assistant that does things for me that were just like repetitive. So yeah, just something to bear in mind. Because I think sometimes you can, when you're stuck in that mentality of that you have to do everything yourself, you can look at your diary and think, oh my, you know, like, how am I going to fit everything into a week? So starting to be aware of how you can do that. So once you've got clear on your priorities, obviously you want to then do your scheduling. So decide what you do prefer to do daily and what you prefer to do weekly. Schedule in your non-negotiables. So you remember when I gave the analogy of you need to put your big rocks in first, and then the sand goes all around the rocks. If you fill your jar with sand being the little unimportant things like, you know, cooking, cleaning, all that kind of stuff, then your big rocks will be harder to get in the jar. But if you put the big rocks in first and you pour the sand over them, so you're putting in your non-negotiables first when you've got to be at work, when you've got to take the kids to school, if that's something you're still doing, you know, spending time with your children, going to the gym, going to church, all those important things to you that you're not willing to change. Then you want to schedule in your needle movers being those things that are going to move your business forward. You know, if you have to choose between creating a piece of content and inviting people, you need to choose inviting people. You know, if you need to choose between, I don't know, you know, doing some playing around with your business page or inviting people, you need to invite people. So it's knowing that what are your top priorities. If you're at a point in the program where you're not currently prospecting, and that's fine, and you're still working through, say, phases 1, 2, 3, then that needs to be a priority, is working through the course content. Adele, do you have a question? No?
Oh, no, is it because sorry.
That's fine.
I'm just chilling into it and watching it, listening.
So that's how you want to start, is be clear on the priorities. So again, for example, if you're working on, when you guys get to lead magnets, if you're working on lead magnets, or you're working on something that's not a needle mover necessarily, that's a lower priority. You will, you know, if you just spend the next 3 months like doing killer content, one, and inviting people, you'd have a massive business. So obviously we want to do all the other things and fit them in, but I'm talking about, you know, if you're looking at your diary and you're like, I don't know, you know, I need to prioritize here. So putting your non-negotiables, then your needle movers, then the rest will go in, okay? The nice to-dos, all the other things you need to do with like building out your, I know some of you at the point where you're building out your opportunity groups, or whether it's like building out content or whatever. And then you want to try and get in a habit of reviewing your diary the night before. I like to do this because it just mentally preps me for the next day. I know what I'm doing, I know what's coming, and so on and so forth. And then obviously, as always, lots of reward, lots of gratitude, lots of, you know, celebration on, you know, if I stay on track this week, I'm going to take Sunday off and go and do something really lovely. And yeah, congratulate myself for sticking to my plan for the week. So there's nothing really that has to be done daily unless you prefer to work that way. So if you do prefer to, you know, invite a small amount of people every day, as opposed to sitting down, say, twice a week and blocking it, that's fine. When I was in network marketing, I personally preferred to block maybe 2 or 3 times a week, and that's when I would do my inviting, following up, connecting. But again, it really doesn't matter how you do it, as long as you get it done. That's the important thing to remember. Whatever works for you is what's going to work, and that's what you need to do. So yeah, that's that. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to like pop it in the, I think quite a few people have lost connection, which is a bit of a shame. Let me but yeah, if you guys are happy with all of that, yes, you have a question?
Yeah. Sorry. The needle mover thing, I've obviously not read that. Where's or was it on a training that I've missed, or what? Where do you talk about needle movers and things?
I talk about them all the time. So let me.
Is it in a specific phase or anything like that that I've not picked up on, or?
Maybe. I don't think I specifically put something in just about it, but I will do that.
Okay.
Needle movers are basically the things that move your business forward the most. So in all businesses, it's marketing.
Yeah.
Generation. So for your business model, that is connecting, following up, and inviting.
Yeah.
Putting people into your funnel. That's what that's my needle mover. Like, I'm no different to you guys. Like, if I'm not connecting with potential clients, I'm not generating leads, then like I don't have a business. So that's a needle mover for network marketers. Your other needle mover is really like content creation. Yeah, inviting, following up, connecting, content, and then probably once you have like a bigger team, like your coaching call for your team.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You are welcome. All right, guys. Thank you for hopping on. I'm sorry that so many people had connection problems. I'll upload the recording, and the next 2 coaching call dates are up in the Facebook group, and then I'll redo them because obviously then I'll be back in Australia, so I'll be back on a different time zone. So I'll do those then, but you've got the next 2 weeks. As always, if you need me, just Voxer. And yeah, have an amazing next week. And I think the next call is week on Tuesday, I think. Have an amazing week, guys. Alice, I hope you feel better soon. Adele, have an amazing week. Hope you feel better soon. I'll see you guys all very soon. Mwah.